Okay, let's get started. So just finding a nice, comfortable position, somewhere you can sit for the next 5 or so minutes. Just gently closing down the eyes, starting to arrive, starting to become present. We'll open with our acknowledgement of country. I acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land I live on and recognise their ancestral history and continuing connection to land, water and community. I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging and recognise they never ceded sovereignty and that their culture remains strong. Just feeling a heaviness starting to flow through the body as you release any physical tension anywhere in the body. Doing a scan mentally from the head, checking you're not holding on anywhere through the face, all of the jaw nice and soft. Feel the shoulders dropping away from the ears, arms becoming heavy. Spine is nice and long and elongated, but not straining. Hips feel soft. Legs are heavy and relaxed. We'll take a deep breath in through the nostrils, gathering up any tension, any tightness, opening the mouth and sighing it out, letting it go. And again, this time gathering up any negative thoughts, any fears, any emotions you don't want to take with you into class. Opening the mouth and sighing it out. And one more big breath in, consciously gathering up anything you don't need and consciously letting it go with a big deep sigh. And just starting to really arrive. You're already seated, present in a physical sense. Now just guiding the mind into this moment, moving it away from thoughts of the past or the future. Committing mentally to the next hour here. And then any energy, if you feel like you've spread yourself out this week, lots going on, spread yourself thin, consciously drawing the energy back into the body and into this moment. And just sitting for a couple of breaths here as we come truly into a state of presence. Awareness of the breath now, noticing it in its natural, spontaneous state, entering and exiting the body, noticing the change in the body, the chest rising, the belly rising, whatever it is for you in this moment. Awareness of the breath moving spontaneously. Now just deepening that breath a little, taking a little control. Nice deep inhalation and exhalation. It doesn't need to be a full expansive breath. Just something that feels long, deep, oxygenating the system in and out of the nostrils. Even inhalation, even exhalation. And using that same rhythm of breath I want you to turn on Ujjayi breath, and that's where we do that little constriction in the throat. Makes us sound a little bit like Darth Vader. So imagining we're going onto a mirror, except the lips are closed. So it starts to make a little noise. Almost like waves rolling in and out to sea. And consciously trying to take this Ujjayi breath with you through the practice. At all times, trying to use that Ujjayi, that rhythm, that wave, the vibration, the sound. And you'll notice as we work through the practice, your mind will wander and then you'll realize and bring it back. Conscious awareness of the breath through Ujjayi. As from here, we'll open the practice. Hands come together in prayer, thumbs against the heart space. 3 rounds of Om, breathing in together. Om Bhurvaswaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodaya. Just gently releasing the hands, keeping the eyes closed a moment. Just a contemplation quote that I've got for today's class. It's a Native American Apache prayer, but a beautiful quote considering we are just at the start of a full moon. We're coming into full moon on Monday. And we're also at the end, so we're at the end of a moon cycle and we're also at the end of the year. Quote is, looking behind, I am filled with gratitude. Looking forward, I am filled with vision. Looking upward, I am filled with strength. Looking within, I discover peace. Just something to contemplate as you go on with class and your day. If you have music that you want to put on, I didn't supply a playlist today, but feel free to press play now. You're all pretty seasoned yogis, so we're going to flow a little bit today. So let's start with our warm-up. Drop right ear to right shoulder. Drop the head forward. Left ear, left shoulder. Drop the head back. Closing down the eyes. Nice, gentle rotation. Softly, softly. Just releasing any tension in the neck. And then when it feels enough in one direction, gently back the other way. Awakening through the top of the spine here. Loosening after lying on a pillow all night. And then slowly bringing yourself back to center. Let's roll the shoulders. Let's do a nice big roll back. We'll do 3 in one direction. So also releasing that tension we hold in the shoulders, and when you're ready, back the other way, rolling them forward. Coming to stillness, and then let's bring that right shoulder forward, our nice big Sufi rolls here. Just starting to release tension through the lower back, Always good for a morning practice. Feeling into what the body needs today. And when you're ready, back the other way. And coming back up to center. Let's drop the fingertips down beside us. Draw the hands up towards the heart space. Clasp the hands, push the hands away. Nice big curve in the spine. Chin comes down towards the chest. Breathing in, we stretch up. Nice and long, looking up at the fingertips. Breathing out, slowly, slowly release the hands. Breathing in, hands walk away to the right side. Big stretch up to the left. Breathing out, let's float this left hand down to the floor. Breathing in, right arm comes up, a nice big stretch through the right side. Breathing out, floating back to center. Breathing in, let's extend the spine nice and long. Breathing out, right hand, right buttock, left hand on the left, right knee. Turn, look over the right shoulder. Stay here. Breathing out. Breathing in, long, straight spine. Breathing out, release and come back to center. Breathing in, long, straight spine again. Left hand to the floor, right hand across. Breathing out, turn and look over the left shoulder. Stay here, breathing in. Breathing out, release, coming back to center. Let's bring the hands behind us, come into reverse tabletop. Squeeze the buttocks, lift the hips up. Option to look at the belly here. If you want a little extra stretch, opening up through the throat chakra, just drop the head back gently, very gently. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, push the soles of the feet into the floor. Buttocks are squeezed. Continue to breathe. And then slowly, slowly float your way back down to a seated position. Extending the legs out in front of us. Feel free to leave a little bend in the knees. Long, straight spine. Arms up overhead. We'll keep the spine straight and long as we pivot from the hips until you come about as far as you can without starting to curve the spine. Then we allow the arms to gently come down, place them somewhere on the legs, and then we allow the spine to soften. We'll take a few breaths here, starting to open up through that whole back body. And remembering our contemplation quote, that final line, looking within, I discover peace. This posture, a great opportunity to turn within, listen to anything your body, mind, soul, spirit has got to share with you this morning. Just taking a few breaths here. And then gently releasing, using the hands to walk yourself back upright. We'll come over onto all fours into tabletop. Getting ready for our cat-cow. So let's drop the belly, chin forward, breath in. Breathing out, curve the spine, chin into chest. Breathing in, forward. Breathing out, curve the spine. Breathing in, nice big Ujjayi breath. Breathing out into cat. Breathing in, drop the belly, one more. Breathing out, tuck that tailbone under. Let's move into freestyle hips. Just start to swing the hips from side to side, loosening up the hips and the lower back here. Moving any way that feels good. Just listening to what the body needs. Starting to work into any place that needs a little extra care this morning. Remembering Ujjayi breath. And then bringing yourself back up to tabletop. We'll move into our first downward dog. So hands around half a palm further up the mat. Let's tuck the toes under. Start with just hovering the knees as we push the hands away from us. Long, straight spine. Feel strength in the arms. Elbows are straight. Drop the head. Give it a little yes, no, nod and shake. Just checking there's no tension in the neck. Long straight spine, hips are drawing up towards the ceiling, and when you feel stable there, start to straighten the knees a little, just whatever you can do today. Starting to draw the heels down towards the mat. You can walk the dog one heel up, one heel down. Move the hips from side to side if that feels good. Just getting length and strength in our downward dog. Moving any way you'd like to. You might want to bend the knees, just get the spine long and straight again, then re-extend the knees, just adjusting. And then when you're ready, let's find some stillness here. Ujjayi breath is on. Finding your stillness. And then we'll drop the knees nice and wide down to the outer edges of the mat. Feet come to touch. Let's drop into pose of the child, forehead down to the floor. A little roll from side to side, a massage, forehead against the mat. And just feel yourself starting to draw downwards, surrendering within. And from here, we'll walk both hands over to the left edge of the mat, right hand on top of the left. You might feel the right hip drawing away a little, just creating a little bit of extra length in that right side. Forehead drops down as much as it can. A little side bend here. Couple of breaths. And then taking that right hand, leading the way back across to the other side of the mat. This time, right hand on the edge of the right side of the mat, left hand on top. Drawing the left hip slightly away as we create space between the left armpit and the left hip. Couple of softening breaths. And release the left hand, bring both hands back to center. Just a couple of breaths, recentering ourselves, grounding downwards. And then when you're ready, let's bring ourselves back up through tabletop, all the way up into downward dog. Long extension through the spine. Come up onto the toes. Take the gaze forward between the hands and slowly walk the feet up towards the hands. Coming into ragdoll, so a nice bend in the knees, feet are slightly apart. Take hold of opposite elbow. Allow that head to release and relax. A little swing from side to side, that swing coming from the lower back. It's not coming just in the arms or the shoulders. It's right down in the lower back. From the hips you're swinging. And then some nice rotations. So let's swing to the right, a big circle up around the waist. Down the left side, 2 in each direction in your own time. Back the other way if you're up to that. Next time you reach the bottom, just release the hands, keep that bend in the knees, chest is lying against the thighs, and then we'll slowly roll to standing. Head coming last. Let's roll the shoulders back and come to the top of the mat. We'll start with 2 rounds of half sun salutes. And then we're going to move into sun salutation B, which I'll guide you through, which is just a little bit different to what we usually do. So towards the front of the mat, feet are just slightly apart. If it feels good on your hips, you might be slightly pigeon-toed, just finding your strength in your posture. Tailbone draws down, put slightly tilted pelvis to create strength in the lower legs. Long straight spine, chin is ever so slightly tucked in to create length through the back of the head. Let's bring the hands together in prayer, thumbs against the heart. Using that Ujjayi breath, big breath in, arms up overhead, look up. Breathing out, deep forward fold, bend the knees. Halfway lift, breathing in, straighten the knees, hands on shins. Breathing out, forward fold. Breathing in, arms overhead, looking up, little curve in the spine. Breathing out, hands to prayer. Feeling into the flow. Breathing in, arms up. Breathing out, forward fold. Breathing in, halfway lift. Breathing out, forward fold. Breathing in, arms overhead. Breathing out, hands to prayer. Let's do 2 more. Breathing in, arms up. Nice bend through the spine. Breathing out, forward fold, gratitude. Breathing in, halfway lift, looking forward to our vision. Breathing out, turning within, noticing our inner peace. Breathing in, lifting up. Breathing out, hands to prayer. 1 more. Breathing in, arms up. Breathing out, forward fold. Breathing in, halfway lift. Breathing out, forward fold. Breathing in, arms up. Breathing out, hands to prayer. Releasing the hands. Coming into mountain pose. Closing down the eyes. Feeling that sensation of flow. Noticing the heart starting to beat a little. Noticing any change in the breath. Perhaps change in the emotions. Maybe something feels a little bit like it's bubbling up, and just allow it to. Feeling the space in the lungs with the breath work. A little tingling across the whole body, maybe particularly around the lower back where you might have loosened up a little. Observing this very moment. And then just opening up the eyes, ready to move into sun salutation B. We'll move very slowly, but we're going to fairly much keep flowing. So we'll bring the hands together in prayer. Just getting yourself centered. Feeling that grounding through the feet. Lengthening through the body. Presence in the here and now. Breathing in, arms up overhead, looking up. Breathing out, deep forward fold. Bending the knees. Breathing in, halfway lift, long straight spine. Gaze looks just a little bit forward of where the floor, your gaze naturally is on the floor. Breathing out, deep forward fold. Now breathing in, we're going to take the right foot back, place it at a 45-degree angle, and we're going to come up into warrior one. So we've got a nice bend in that front knee, knee over the front foot, long leg, straight leg at the back, and we're on a 45-degree angle with that foot, hips and shoulders squared to the front. Breathing in as we come up here. Breathing out, we're going to bring the hands down to frame that left foot, and we are straight back into a high plank. Breathing in into high plank. Breathing out, drop the knees, chest, chin to the floor, flatten the belly out. Breathing in, press into the hands, into baby cobra. Breathing out, lower ourselves back down to the floor. Breathing in, tuck the toes up into downward dog. We'll take a couple of breaths here. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Ready to step the right foot forward. So as we breathe in, we're going to take that right foot and try and step it all the way up between the hands, straight up into warrior one again on the other side. Breathing in. Breathing out, hands to the floor, step that left foot back to meet the right in our deep forward fold. Breathing in, halfway lift. Breathing out, forward fold. Breathing in, arms up overhead. Breathing out, hands to prayer. One more, nice and slow. Breathing in on the other side. So breathing in. Breathing out, forward fold. Breathing in, halfway lift. Breathing out, forward fold. Ready to step the left foot back. Breathing in, step back, set up into our warrior one. Breathing out, hands down to the floor, step the right foot back. Breathing in, high plank. Breathing out, drop the knees, chest, chin to the floor. Untuck the toes. Breathing in, come up into baby cobra. Breathing out, flat to the floor. Breathing in, up into downward dog. Let's just take a couple of breaths here. Breathing out. Big breath in. Big breath out. Ready to move the left foot up between the hands. Breathing in, left foot comes up between the hands, and we come up into warrior one on the other side. Breathing out, deep forward fold. Right foot comes back to meet the left. Breathing in, halfway lift. Breathing out, forward fold. Breathing in, arms overhead. Breathing out, hands to prayer. And release. Again, just finding stillness again. Feeling into not only the physical, but checking in with the mental body now, noticing whether there are any triggers in that sequence where you thought, oh, I can't do that. I don't know what she's up to. I'm a bit lost here. What sort of stories you told yourself in that moment. Awareness of how your mindset, how your triggers and reactions to things can change your moods and emotions. Just presence and observation. Opening the eyes, we'll reset for one more round, and I'm going to just keep flowing. So try to keep up. It might be perfectly fine for you. You might get a little bit lost. Try not to be hard on yourself. Notice what comes up for you if you can or can't do it. So let's bring the hands to prayer. finding that grounding, finding that inner strength. Breathing in, arms overhead. Breathing out, forward fold. Breathing in, halfway lift. Breathing out, forward fold. Breathing in, right foot back up into warrior one. Breathing out, hands to the floor, back into plank. Breathing in, hold in high plank. Breathing out, knees, chest, chin to the floor. Untuck the toes. Breathing in, up into cobra. Breathing out, back down to the floor. Breathing in, tuck the toes. Coming up into downward dog. Holding here, breathing out. Ready to move, breathing in, right foot comes forward, up in to warrior one. Breathing out, hands to the floor, left foot comes to meet the right, forward fold. Breathing in, halfway lift. Breathing out, forward fold. Breathing in, arms up overhead. Breathing out, hands to prayer, straight through onto the other side. Breathing in, arms overhead. Breathing out, forward fold. Breathing in, halfway lift. Breathing out, forward fold. Ready to move the left foot. Breathing in, coming up into warrior one. Breathing out, hands down to the floor, step back into high plank. Breathing in as we hold in high plank. Breathing out, knees, chest, chin to the floor. Breathing in, up into cobra. Breathing out, lower back down, flat on the floor. Tuck the toes, breathing in, up into downward dog. Hold here as we're breathing out, ready to move the left foot. Breathing in, left foot steps forward between the hands, up into warrior one. Breathing out, hands down to the floor, right foot meets left, forward fold. Breathing in, halfway lift. Breathing out, forward fold. Breathing in, arms up overhead. Breathing out, hands to prayer. And release. Taking a moment of contemplation. How did you feel about that? What sort of emotions or thoughts came up? Was there positivity and pride in yourself, or did you become a little bit hard on yourself? Did you judge? Did you compare yourself? Awareness that all of these things shift us from our balance and presence. Our own mind judging, comparing, knocking us off our balance. Noticing the heartbeat, the warmth starting to build in the body. And then coming back to the top of the mat, I'm going to work into some hip openers. We'll just get down onto the floor through flow. So hands back in prayer. Breathing in, arms overhead. Breathing out, forward fold. Breathing in, halfway lift. Breathing out, forward fold. Now let's take the right foot back. And we want to come into a nice deep runner's lunge here. So we've got the right foot a long way back. We're going to drop that knee, and we want that right knee stacked on top, left knee stacked on top of that left foot. We want to just come up into runner's lunge here. So you might just place the hands here. If that feels too intense, feel free to just pop the fingertips down on the floor either side of that left leg. I'm just going to hold here for 4 breaths. Starting to really work into the hip flexor. Now let's bring the fingertips down to the floor. We'll bring the left hand on the inside of that left leg, and we just want to heel toe the left leg out to the outer edge of the mat. And then we can place our left hand on that hip. You can give it a little push away to the side. The foot can roll up onto the outer edge of the mat there. And we just want to start to work into opening through that hip. If you'd rather roll, feel free to roll. Just starting to open that left hip up a little bit. Right hand can be flat on the floor, just providing some support. And then find some stillness, just 4 breaths here. Releasing the left hand, allowing that foot to come back to center. We'll walk the left foot, this time all the way over to meet the right edge of the mat or to meet the right hand. Then we'll drop the knee down and we'll start to move our way into pigeon on the left side. So we want to have that left foot coming across the body. The foot can be in line, parallel with the mat, or in towards the body, whatever your hips allow. Back leg is extended nice and long. We'll come up onto the fingertips, long, straight spine. And slowly using the elbows, bending our chest forward, heart draws down towards the floor, and wherever you can get to today. If you want to stay up here on the elbows, that's good. If you can drop all the way down, forehead on the floor, that's good too. No comparison and no judgment here. You're starting to really release through that left hip. Finding somewhere that is not pain, but you can certainly feel it starting to get into that sweet spot where we release. We'll be here for 8 breaths. And when you're ready, just slowly pushing into the hands, slowly bringing yourself up a little. Just roll a little onto that left hip to release the pressure. Hands are in the position you would normally be in if you were moving into a downward dog. So just placed on the inside of your mat. Let's tuck the toes of that right foot and swing the left foot back to meet the right as we come up into a downward dog. We'll float forward into a high plank. Drop the knees, chest, chin down to the mat. Untuck the toes, push into the hands, coming up into a cobra. Slowly lower ourselves back down to the mat. Tuck the toes, up into another downward dog. Take a couple of breaths here. Lengthen the spine. And then let's just drop both knees down to the floor. We'll step the right foot forward between the hands. And let's come up into our runner's lunge. So untuck the toes of the back foot, right and left hand up onto that right knee if that's available. Otherwise, fingertips to the floor. 4 breaths here. Releasing both hands, right hand on the inside of the right foot. Let's heel toe that right foot out to the right hand edge of the mat. We want to open up that hip, so drop to the outer edge of the right foot. If you want a little extra leverage, take that right hand and push it into the knee. Just starting to open. We'll just take 4 breaths here. Remove the hand, allow that sole of the foot to come back flat. Let's heel toe, change that right hand out to the outer edge. Heel toe all the way across, this time to the left hand side of the mat. Drop the knee down and adjust to any position you need to. Extend that leg, left leg back, up onto the fingertips, long straight spine. Leading with the heart, slowly, slowly start to bring yourself down into pigeon on the other side. Settling in, adjusting, trying to find that maximum benefit point. We'll be here for 8 breaths. And then pressing into the hands, slowly drawing yourself up a little bit. Drop onto that right hip. And let's swing the left leg around as we come to a seated position. Just closing down the eyes. Feeling the sensation around the hips. Noticing the buzz. The vibration. It's all on the energetic level. Noticing if anything emotional is coming up. Sometimes you feel on the edge of something. Just sitting in self-awareness. Now let's come up onto the knees. We'll come up onto high knees. I'm going to come up into camel pose. So I just want you to be very aware of the structure of the base of this. I don't want you to bend too much into the lower back. This can be quite an intense back bend for people. So we've got the knees just hip distance apart. We've got strength in the thighs. The tailbone is tilting down and the pelvis sort of tilting a little bit forward. We want a nice long straight spine. Let's come up onto the toes so that you've got a little bit of height in the legs. And then you're really leading from the top of the shoulders as we start to, actually let's place hands on the back, lower back here. We want to lead, chest keeps drawing forward so that we're really bending through the mid back, not the lower back. And if this is as far as you feel you need to go today, let's stay here. If you feel you can reach down to the heels, drop your hands down to the heels and you'll feel the chest really start to open. Keep breathing. And if you feel like you can go a little further, you can flatten the backs of the feet down to the floor. And if you feel like you really want to open up, slowly and carefully drop the head back. Feeling the whole chest and throat open, continuing to breathe. Drawing the head up, bringing yourself back up onto the toes, slowly, slowly lifting yourself back up. Let's come into pose of the child just to counterbalance that quite extreme back bend there. Feel the heart drawing down, let the spine elongate. Find softness and care, finding kindness to yourself in this pose. And when you're ready, just walking the hands back up. And we'll come onto our bottom. We're going to extend the left leg straight out in front of us. Right leg comes in, tucks into that inner left thigh. Long straight spine, and we want to walk the left hand down the left edge of the leg, right hand down the right edge of the leg. Find any place that you can to hold on here. And then just allow that spine to round and become nice and soft. Checking in on whether you've still got your Ujjayi breath going. it might have become more subtle. If not, just gently switching it back on. This beautiful wave of vibration and oxygen, helping to bring the body back into balance. I've got 8 more long, deep breaths here. A nice long hold. And then gently releasing, use the hands to slowly walk yourself back up. Let's bring the right leg down to meet the left. Just rebalance, close the eyes. Feel if you can feel any difference, the back of the left leg versus the back of the right leg. The right hip versus the left hip or lower back area. Just awareness in this moment. And now let's move on to the other side. Left foot into the right thigh. Long straight spine, walking the hands down either side of that right foot, finding a place to hold, allowing the spine to soften, drawing downwards. A reminder of that beautiful contemplation quote that we started with. Looking behind, I am filled with gratitude. Looking forward, I am filled with vision. Looking upward, I am filled with strength. Looking within, I discover peace. A few more breaths. And slowly release, use the hands to walk your way back upright. Let's take the legs out nice and wide here. Just adjusting yourself so you feel centered. And we're going to turn and look at the right leg. I'm going to flow through this, right hand on the inside, on the outside, left hand on the outside. We come forward over that right leg. And then we bring the right hand across and we walk the hands slowly around an arc shape. We pause in the center. We'll take 2 breaths here. Nice stretch up the inner legs. And then we'll keep walking the hands, this time all the way over to the left leg. Body faces the left leg, left hand on the outer side, drawing downwards. And then trying to stay down, we walk the hands back through the arc, taking 2 breaths in the center. Keep moving, this time back over to the right side, over that right leg, and walking ourselves back up to center. Let's turn and look at the left leg. Body comes down over the left leg this time, taking a moment to really feel a nice stretch through the back of the leg. Left hand comes across into the center. Let's walk through that arc. Take a couple of breaths in the middle. All the way across, this time over to the right side, right hand on the outside edge, body turns to that leg, a little deeper stretch here. And then we make our journey back, coming back through that arc, stopping in the center for a couple of breaths. And continuing all the way back around to the end of our journey over that left leg. Nice deep stretch. Walking the hands back up and to center. Let's come down onto the back. We'll move first of all into our bridge pose. So let's just bring the soles of the feet up towards the buttocks, heels as close to the buttocks as possible. Arms down beside the body, palms facing downwards, just getting the spine centered. Let's push into the soles of the feet, lift the hips and the pelvis up towards the ceiling. A nice big curve here through the lower spine. Slowly lower the hips back down to the ground, allowing them to softly, softly meet the mat. And again, this time using the hands, so we'll push into the soles of the feet, lift up the hips, hands come in underneath the buttocks, they clasp, come up onto the shoulder blades, really push those hips up towards the ceiling. You might feel a little constriction in the throat as the throat comes closer to the chest. The chest is also lifting here. We'll take 3 breaths. Notice the belly rising and falling. Unclasp the hands. Let's flatten those shoulder blades out nice and flat before we slowly bring the hips back down to the floor. Bring the knees into the chest, a little rock from side to side, just turning the spine in the opposite direction, counterbalancing. And then let's draw the soles of the feet back to the floor. Arms out in a T shape in line with the shoulders. Right foot or right knee crosses over the left. You might like to shuffle the hips a little to the right if that feels good. And we'll drop the legs down to the left. Turn and look at the right hand if that's possible. Trying to keep that right shoulder down on the ground. For a little extra twist, left hand on that right knee. We'll take 5 long deep breaths here. And just release the hand if you've got that, holding down the knees. Bring both knees back up to center, uncross the right knee. Let's just lie again for a moment, centered. Keeping the eyes closed, noticing any difference, right side to left. Is there a smoothness to one side? Is there warmth or vibration in one side more than the other? No judgment, just observation. And now taking the left leg, crossing it over the right. Little shuffle of the hips to the left if that feels good. Drop the knees over to the right side. Gaze and shoulder down on the left. Take that hand, anchor it down if that's for you. 5 long, deep, relaxing breaths. We can lose the ujjayi now. We're coming into a state of relaxation. Just back to your normal natural breath. Releasing the hand, both knees draw back up to the middle, uncrossing the legs. And now preparing to move into our final, most important posture of Shavasana. So just extending the legs, body long, centered and balanced. Legs are slightly apart, ankles and feet rolling outwards, arms away from the body, palms facing up. Eyes are closed. Taking a moment to just notice that buzz that you might have created in your body today. We've worked into almost all of the positions of the spine. We've stretched upper body and lower body. We've worked into the breath, helping the energy flow, awareness of emotions, a full holistic approach in an hour. Just allowing the body to come to deep rest here. Awareness of the breath at the belly here. Letting that awareness go, just bringing your awareness to the feet, checking that they're truly relaxed, that they're feeling heavy. Awareness at the lower legs, checking that you're not clenching at the calf muscles, nor the kneecaps, nice and soft. Upper thighs released and relaxed. Both buttocks and the hips. Check that the lower back feels like it's drawing downwards, soft, hopefully a little looser than how you started. Middle of the back and the upper back. Notice both hands. Check that the fingers are gently curled in, indicating no tension. The lower arms, the upper arms and the shoulders, soft and released. The back of the neck, back of the head, crown of the head, no tension. Notice the forehead, check that there's no frown lines, just softness, smoothness. Eyes and eyelids relaxed. The cheeks, both ears, the jaw, the lips, teeth and tongue. Chin, nice and soft. The front of the neck and the throat, the upper chest, ribs, the belly, there's no need to hold on. The whole of the pelvic area. The whole body in a deep state of rest here. Heavy, relaxed, in a perfect state for all the magic that you've created to do its thing. As you lie here, energy is shifting into places that need attention and healing. You're unraveling blockages caused by tension. The mind is present. We're not using the mind to create emotions that we don't need. Now we'll start to deepen the breath. Coming back out of that state of relaxation, wriggling the fingers and toes. Noticing and recognizing the little reset that you've given yourself. Let's take a big stretch, arms above the head, pointing the toes, long spinal stretch. Knees come into the chest, giving yourself that little hug of gratitude. We'll rock from side to side if that feels good, massaging the back against the mat. Just rolling to one side a moment, finding rest. And when you're ready, gently pressing the hands into the floor as you bring yourself back up to a seated position. Hands come face down on the knees as we ground ourselves back into our day. Eyes are closed. One final self-observation. How are you feeling in this moment? And if it's not all peace, love, and unicorns, just noticing any emotion that's coming up, anything negative, anything that's a bit hard to swallow. This is why we do yoga, to bring it up so we can process it and move it on. So just honoring anything that's coming up. One final round of that contemplation quote, just something that you can take with you into your day and your week, especially as we come to the end of a pretty strange year. Looking behind, I am filled with gratitude. Looking forward, I am filled with vision. Looking upward, I am filled with strength. Looking within, I discover peace. Hands come together in prayer, thumbs against the heart space. One final round of Om. Breathing in. The divine spark in me honors the divine spark in you. Namaste.